Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ji-hee Han. In our previous videos, we have examined the pieces written in sonata form by Beethoven, Mozart, and Tchaikovsky, and those pieces were written in classical and romantic periods. And in today's video, we are going to explore the music written in impressionistic period by a composer named Claude Debussy. Claude Debussy is well known by his famous composition called Clair de Lune, and undoubtedly he is the most famous composer in impressionistic period. So what are the features of impressionistic period? And as a part of sonata form series of my channel, we are going to study Debussy's sonata for flute, viola, and harp. This is a really beautiful music that you may want to listen to it over and over. So we are going to talk about the features of impressionistic period as well as how did Debussy fit his music into sonata form by his own language. And as always, I leave the score and the recording of this music in my description box below. So if you haven't listened to this music yet, I highly recommend you to listen to music first and then you can download the score, have the score while you're watching this video. Are you ready to dive in Debussy's music? Let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about Debussy's Six Sonatas. And today we are just going to talk about the first movement, which is called Pastorale. Okay, so this is the score, Six Sonatas by Claude Debussy. And here it is. This is the first page of the score, and let's get started. This is the first movement called Pastorale. And since Debussy named this as sonata, so let's see if this music fit in sonata form. So the first part of sonata form is always the exposition, and in this exposition, as you may know, we have first theme and the second theme. And before we begin, you have to always check the key signatures. So this one has only one flat, which means this is supposed to be either F major or D minor. And the harp starts the music with an arpeggio. And can you tell me what this chord is? The first chord. This one starts with G flat. So this is obviously not F major tonic chord or D minor tonic chord. So if we rearrange this chord, we can get C half diminished ninth chord. So it's a unique chord to start the music, and then the flute enters here with strange melody. And okay. I just play the flute line, and it's really hard to tell what kind of chords are Debussy's using here. I've heard some augmented chord with some passing note, with some chromatic fillers, and also in measure 3, viola enters with relatively diatonic melody. Okay. Okay, so this is the first theme area we are in, and we already saw so many components by harp, by flute, and by viola. They're all playing the different things. So in Debussy's music, there's no very clear kind of themes or motive. It's just flowing. It's just, you may hard to determine the regular pulse of music because it's just keep going without strong pulsation and without strong like clear chords, or it just floating around without the goal. That's the key feature of impressionistic music. We're gonna just label these themes, okay? The themes are very fragmented in this piece. They are very short and it's not actually very thematic, but they're, yeah, fragmented. So the flute melody, will be, I'll just know number 1. And the viola, E, D, C, F, this one, I'll just number 2 in first theme area in the exposition. And then here, your flute plays another component. Okay, so fast passage here. And let's move to next page, next measure. And if you look at here, the harp plays a chord. And let me play this on the piano. Take a listen. So, what did you hear it here? It's kind of a cadence, isn't it? In F major. You've heard the F major chord, so it's like a 5-1 cadence. I'm gonna label C for cadence. Cadence like places here. And next measure, so something new component came out. This is the 4th theme, okay, 4th component here, played by viola and harp. And look at viola. Viola's playing F and C pedal. This is called pedal tone, sustaining note for a long time. And this really strongly implies the F major, doesn't that? So tonic and dominant. While the harp plays very beautiful chord, sounds like. Okay. In the harp part, you see a lot of parallel fifth. These are all intervals of fifth. In traditional harmonic system, parallel fifths are prohibited. It's a prohibited progression, but like Debussy is intentionally using the parallel fifths, and it sounds beautiful. So that's one of the very common features in impressionistic music. You have a lot of parallel motions. Okay, parallel means all the music is moving to the same direction rather than the opposite direction. All right, and move down. This is measure 14. And in measure 14, here we see another new things are coming. So I would say this is the 5th element in the exposition. And here, I strongly feel like this is 2, 7, 2, 5 progression in F major. I'm gonna play the harp part. Okay, something like this. So, this is not very clear, harmonically clear, but still Debussy is using some kind of F major-ish chords here and there. Debussy's music is still based on triadic harmony, and that's why it sounds so good to us. It's little new. He explored to new harmonies, but still it sounds good. Okay, move to the next page. Okay, here. This is measure 18. This is a very short piece. And here comes, let's say this is totally new. So let's say this is the 2nd theme, okay? So we looked at 5 fragments, 5 themes in the first 2 pages. And those are just considered as the first theme area. So first theme has 5 different sections, 5 different very short sections. And 2nd theme is pretty uniformed. There are flute and viola and piano. You see vertically they're moving together, unlike the first themes. And here you see it's Viola, the flute is copying what Viola did. This is contrapuntal moment, and even they have unison here, animato. So it's like more agitated moment. So let's say this is kind of second theme area. Let's move to the next page. And you see here, we see the clear cut of the section by double bar line, and even the key signature has changed, and then the time signature has changed. We have 4 flats. So this is kind of a flat major-ish section, and this is the development section. This is the beginning of development section. Unlike the traditional developments, this section doesn't reuse the first theme or the second themes. This section doesn't develop the first themes or second themes. Instead, it's bringing totally new idea, and this kind of development is called episode. So it's a new section, and the viola enters with very vibrant melody. Okay, so I just play the viola line here. Let's move to the next section. And do you see here, you see E flat. We are still in the development section. E flat is just ringing, lingering for a long time. Really reminds me the dominant pedal at the end of the development section. Because a lot of classical and romantic periods music at the end of the development section, there's prolonged dominant pedals to return to the tonic. Anyway, the initial key was not A flat major, but this is E flat is 5 of A flat major. So it just reminds me, it's not functionally 5 of A flat, but Debussy is using a little bit of that idea, traditional idea, into his music, which is very interesting and good to know. And the development section ends at here, okay, with clear cut by the double bar line, and it returned to F major again. Key signature has changed with a little bit of introduction by viola. And here, do you remember this melody? Okay, by flute. So this melody was P2, E, D, C, F, P2. Can you let me find P2? Here it is in the first page. Yep, P2 is recapitulated. Oh, I forgot to name this section. This section is called recapitulation. After the development, it is recapitulation. Recap starts. Maybe starts on this measure 50. Alright, and again, here, this melody this time is accompanied by viola, and it really sounds like this progression to me in F major. Okay. Let's continue. It's still P2 here. Here is still P2. E, D, C, F, E, A, D, C, F. And then do you remember this one, this section? What number of theme was this? This was P5. And by flute, it's complemented. P5 has returned. P5 was where? Yeah, in measure 16, you see P5. Here it returned in the recapitulation. And let's look at this point. Oh, the type signature is 7/8. And this part, do you remember what this was? It's played by viola. Okay, this theme was what? This was the second theme in A minor-ish. Second theme. You saw the second theme in What measure? Here in measure 18, you saw the second theme, the same thing. Oh, so in the exposition, the second theme was played by flute, but in the recapitulation, this melody is played by viola this time. But they are basically the same motive, same theme. And here, move to the next page. And you see the same cadence. Here is measure 66. This theme has returned. This was 4, theme 4, played by viola and harp. This was here in the first page. Theme 4, remember this one? Theme 4 was around measure 8, I think it was measure 9. And let's continue. And let's look at here this time. What measure is this? This is measure 70. So I think this is measure 72. So here, do you remember this theme? This is theme 1. Okay, in the first theme, the first melody that we've heard by flute. Okay. Okay, this one. La da ra. Okay, this one return. As you may see, there's no specific order of the return. It's just very random. Debussy didn't keep the order of the theme in the recapitulation, I think. But still, he's bringing back all the materials he used in the exposition. So that's why this later section can be called a recapitulation. But unlike the classical sonata form, he didn't modulate any of these themes. They just return all as it is. Now, sometimes it's slightly changed, but not transposed. They are just in the same key area. Okay, and then so this is the end of the piece. And if you look at a harp part, you see F, C, you see? And all F major. Very strong. This is tonic. Okay, this is like a 5-2-1 cadence. Like moment, and this is just prolonged tonic area. So at the end, it's of course with flute and viola, it's actually F major 7 chord. So it can be 1/7 chord. However, we can strongly feel that this is the end. This is dominant to tonic moment at the end. So it sounds like cadence. It's not like this clear kind of cadence, but still Debussy's harmonic background is in the traditional harmony.
Okay, so let's summarize what you have learned today. In Pastorale from Debussy's Six Sonatas, he still used the idea of exposition, development, and recapitulation, just as a traditional sonata form. However, in the first theme area, in his exposition, he used 5 different themes or 5 different fragments, very short themes in the first theme area. So we cannot tell which one is the main theme and which one can be fit as a transitional. There was no function. There were just like little dabs of colors in his music. So this is a big difference from a traditional classical sonata form. And in the second theme, in the exposition, it was a little bit more thematic than the 5 fragments in the first theme area. And in his development section, Debussy brings completely new idea with new key, and he used a new theme for the development, and this kind of development is called episode. Okay, so unlike any other typical development in the sonata form, a lot of composers just develop the first theme or second theme in the development section. However, Debussy just explored the completely new thing in his sonata. And in the recapitulation, Debussy brings back the initial ideas from the fragmented 5 themes. However, he didn't bring them back in order, but he kind of mix and match the orders. However, we could not very clearly, but we could recognize, oh, we've heard this before. So it was a return. And in the second theme, in the recapitulation, Debussy just brought it back almost as it is, the second theme from the exposition. So Debussy just brought back the second theme from the exposition to the recapitulation. So in the traditional sonata form, you've learned the second theme has to modulate to the dominant key, but in this case, he didn't need to because this is not based on tonic and dominant harmonic progression. However, we could see some points that we could assume this is the cadence and this is the end of the phrase. So his harmony is based on triadic harmonies, and we could hear some kind of tonality by using like long sustaining notes and one note for a long time. That's actually called tonal center. That we'll get to there later, maybe in the later video. So we could hear some sort of tonality, but it's not very obvious. It's not functional. It's very subtle. And that's Debussy's style. That's the feature of impressionistic music. He used a lot of like 9th and 13th chords, like more like jazzy, sounds like chords. And even he explored like pentatonic scale, a lot of other scales outside the traditional classical music, a lot of modes instead of major and minor scales, and lots of parallel motion. We talked about like parallel fifths in this piece. So those are all kind of features in impressionistic music. Of course, we cannot cover everything about impressionistic music by analyzing one short piece like this, but probably I hope you listen to more impressionistic music by Debussy and Ravel, and you'll get some more sense, more ideas of impressionistic music, which I love and many people still love. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and if you think it was helpful, then please hit the like button and subscribe and share this video with music lovers. Alright, so I'll see you in my next video.